Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coping with Donald. I am Phil. As always, you can leave your comments below, and you can hit the join button, subscribe, or the like button, the hate button, whatever. Couple of things first before we get to Donald. First of all, this is a public service announcement. I was in the dollar store and I saw this gum that was by the front counter. I thought, oh, this sounds cool because it reminded me of my childhood. This is Kool-Aid gum. There's the Kool-Aid man who used to break through the walls, remember? I loved Kool-Aid. And to make Kool-Aid, I loved Kool-Aid because you had to add like 5 pounds of sugar. And anyway, as far as the gum goes, I eagerly started with grape, and it tasted like the faintest grape. It was just something to chew without flavor. Just a faint little hint of grape, like a tiny little splash of a cologne or something. And I mean a little splash, I mean a dot of cologne. And then the flavor kind of turned to what I would describe as some kind of petroleum product. Gas, maybe, what do they call it? Gas additives? I have no idea. So do yourself a favor and skip the Kool-Aid gum. Yuck. Okay, it was a bad day out in the world. I actually hadn't used my car in 19 days. I had bought food by walking to the store and then walking straight back home. But today I decided to go out, and I'm almost sorry I did because, you know, sometimes when things happen that make life just a tiniest bit inconvenient, especially in these times when our brains are totally fried, our patience is gone. Okay? And it seems to make it a lot worse. First, I went to the library, and there was a woman. I needed to make a copy. That's why I went to the library. There was a woman in the library who was trying to, oh God, I can't even think of the word. Fax things. God, my brain. Trying to fax things, okay? And she was trying to get libraries staff to help her, and they were doing the best they could, but she kept interrupting them to complain. And I don't mean just like a little complaint. I mean a Karen. She Karen'd in the library. I mean, every library I've ever been in, everybody's trying to be so helpful. It's a major part of the staff is middle-aged to older women. They don't need that. Oh, this is such a hassle. And oh, why do I need quarters? And oh, like, lady, then don't use it. Go to Office Max and they'll charge you like a ton. But I can understand maybe it was something she had to get out for taxes or something along those lines. That's what I was copying. I was making a couple of copies to have my backup, and I would send, well, no, actually, I kept the original documents, and I sent the IRS the copies. And I just kept thinking, lady, people are getting picked up off the street, even if they're citizens, or haven't committed a crime, and they're being sent to El Salvador prisons without a hearing. And this really upsets you this much. Nobody should get upset about anything like that anymore. But as I just said, I was upset because, I wasn't upset, but I was just like, wow, this is inconvenient. Not that the library lady was inconvenient. I did get the copies, man. I did send out my taxes. And when I did go to send out my taxes, I went to the front of the old post office that I used to work at and retired from a year ago. And I noticed they took away the blue boxes out in the front. So I wanted to, drive by, open up the blue box lid while sitting in the car and throw the letter in. And for some reason, the post office decided that was too convenient. So you have to stop your car, walk inside, drop your letter. The hell if you have to use a wheelchair. The hell if you've got one leg. I mean, they don't care. Just inconvenience where you don't need inconvenience. Some people don't want to walk inside the post office. People like me. Then I went to Target, and one thing I always liked about Target was that you can get cash from your bank. I think they might have discontinued that. Either that or I skipped over the step by accident. And it didn't come up, and I'm thinking, oh great, now I have to start going to the bank every week to get cash out of my account. So anyhow, life got a lot more inconvenient. I couldn't wait to get home. First time out in 3 weeks, okay? Almost 3 weeks. It was 19 days, actually. First time I used my car. All right, let's get to Trump. Before we get to Trump, I want people to understand something about just money, just numbers. If you have $100,000 in a stock account and it goes down $20,000 as stocks have in the last couple of months, it goes down 20%. That's $20,000. Now you have 80. But to get back up to 100, if you make 20% on the 80, you're only making 16 back. You're up to 96. You have to get 25% in order to get back up to your original 100,000. It's just a thought. And believe me, most investors don't even do that well. And when you have the stock market going up, going down, going up, going down, large amounts every day based on what Trump decided to tweet, it to me just makes the stock market, I mean, if you can get even 3%, and I think you can do a lot better than that, if you can get 3% on your money, I wouldn't even bother with the buy and hold. Because he can crash it and send it back the same day, like on Monday, which wasn't his fault. Somebody reported that they were going to suspend the tariffs for 90 days, except for China. And that was Monday. Market went up. Like, I guess it was about 7% or so. Just boom. And then the White House came out and said, no, we're not. So that fake news came back down 7%. What if you were on the wrong end of that? Okay, with your $100,000. Let's just say that you were shorting the market. And then that happened, and you had to get out because you're like, oh my God, it could go up 3 times as much. I've got to get out of here. So you lost 7%. And then on the way back down, okay, you said, I'm going to short it now. And then it went all the way back. I mean, I'm going to play it long now. Excuse me. It went back. If you took both turns against you, you were likely down 12, 13% in that day. What bothers me is that 2 days later, Trump comes out and says, we're going to pause the tariffs for 90 days. Stocks go back up. Except for China. Which is what they erroneously reported on Monday. Keep in mind that that 10% increase is still there. So, I mean, people are saying Trump manipulated the market. I don't know, but what I do know is that Marjorie Taylor Greene, when she went into Congress originally, maybe 4 years ago, maybe 6, she had less than $1 million of wealth, and now she's up to $22 million, and she's buying and selling stocks. So you can't tell me that. First of all, it's not because she's brilliant. I'm positive of that. All right. I don't think it's not like Melania, Jeff Bezos paid her to make a movie about her, or she wrote a book or something. I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene wrote a book like Melania did. 9-0. It's pretty tough to get the Supreme Court to vote 9-0 on anything, but they did. They voted 9-0 to get that man back from the El Salvador prison. One of the men. There's several, but there's one in particular. They're going to bring, or the Supreme Court has ordered. Let's see if Trump ignores them or not. Ordered them to go down there, get that man, bring him back to his wife and 2 kids. Alito voted for that. Clarence Thomas voted for that. Okay? Just do that, Trump. With that one guy, and then there might be more. Just do it. Oh boy, guys. The EU is going to have no tariffs in the EU on electronic vehicles coming in from China. Now, first of all, apparently the electronic vehicles in China are better than the Teslas. But that's just a matter of opinion, I'm sure, of people who say that. But electronic vehicles from China are going to push Elon even further into a dearth of sales in Europe, to say the least. And if they're not buying them in Europe, and half of the people will not buy them in the United States, and out of that half that might buy them, 40% can't afford them. So you got like 10% of the U.S. market that might even consider your car. And those are people, by the way, that their party hates electronic vehicles. And they're very into that party. Canada doesn't like them. Where's he going to sell his cars? Man, that guy's destroyed his brand. They had to get rid of him off the board. Then they have to change the name of the company. Maybe people don't pay attention. They think, hey, this is a great new car. What is it? Finally, the Trump gold pin. It is the silhouette of Trump's head, covered probably in 24 karat gold, you know, thin veneer of gold, some kind of gold over probably brass or iron or something like that. And he wants all his cabinet members and Republican congressmen, senators, to wear it. And it's as bad as it sounds as far as appeal. So are they going to wear the flag pin and the Trump head pin? Or just the Trump head pin? And get rid of the flag? Oh, you know, okay. We're going to show our, not our patriotism, but our devotion to Trump. Well, that's a bad path to go down, everybody. That is a bad path to go down. And I would think that the guy who came on last week to introduce him while he was going to make a speech, before his speech, he introduced him and he actually said, President, it rhymes with punt. Okay? He actually said that. And then, of course, he caught it. Probably his mind collapsed and said, oh my God. And he came out and said, President Trump, he said something that rhymes with punt and runt and bunt in baseball. I think that's about it. Can't think of any more. That might have been my favorite moment of the whole Trump presidency. That's how you cope with Donald. This has been Phil. Have a great weekend. And remember, don't expect to get money out of Target, and expect to do some walking into the post office to mail a letter. Real convenient. Sayonara, everyone.